everybody, it's Chris Easenor. It's Wootini here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for y'all. This week I did not go to the movies. There was nothing coming out that I wanted to see. Plus, my friend was having a birthday brunch, so I went to a drag brunch instead of the movies. Although, last night, my husband wanted to watch Until Dawn, which was on Netflix, and I'd heard terrible things about it, but I said, okay, sure. And everything I heard was correct. It is not very good. If you have any interest in seeing it, don't. Go play the game. It's better. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So it's all going to be about games. First, there was a Nintendo Direct, a developer showcase, which was a bunch of third-party games coming to the Switch and the Switch 2. And there was a bunch of stuff that's like Switch 2 exclusive and still nothing to sell me on a Switch 2. The only game in the entire showcase that actually caught my eye was Once Upon a Katamari, because new Katamari game is always awesome. Thank you. Of course, it comes out like right after the game I'm most anticipating in October. It comes out right after Ghost of Yote. So I'm not really sure. I'm probably gonna wait. Maybe I'll like ask for it for Christmas or something. But yeah, that was basically it. New Katamari game. Fun. And then the other thing this week is that they finally released Tales of the Shire, the cozy new Hobbit sim game. And apparently, I read some reviews, and apparently it's terrible, which is both disappointing and also kind of a relief. It's disappointing because this is the kind of game that's like totally up my alley. You know, you're a hobbit and you farm and fish and cook and decorate your house, and it just looked so sweet and cute and lovely. But apparently it's buggy as hell, and the actual gameplay is kind of a slog and not that much fun. And people are like, no. And one of the reviews I read was a specific like Switch review for the Switch version of the game, and that sounded like it was like a technical disaster. So yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't play good. So oh well. But as I said, it is also a relief because I don't need another cozy game to play every single day. I've got enough of those. I've got 3 already. And I will never give up Animal Crossing, obviously. I did play a little bit less Disney this week, because like I said, I finished the Star Path, and they haven't started a new Star Path yet. So I've just been kind of like casually like working on Peter Pan's friendship, building that up. And then like this last week, in the middle of the week, they started some kind of weird like treasure chest thing where it's like you could find these little treasure clues around, and then you dig up a treasure chest somewhere, or you find a treasure chest somewhere, depending on what you do. You're gonna break rocks or dig up things, whatever, and you get a treasure chest, and then you get a memory where it gives you a clue to the location of the final treasure. But then once I got all the pieces and saw the final place, and I said, okay, that's where it is, and then I went to go there, and you dig it up, and it's a fucking pirate mast, which is like, okay, what's that? That's not helpful or useful at all, but yay, at least it wasn't like a lot of effort to do it. It was really easy, so I guess I don't mind that it's a lame prize. But I played less Disney because I was playing a lot more Infinity Nikki, because this week they started the Dancing Festival. So there's this new area to go to. Unfortunately, you have to go into the Sea of Stars, which is like annoying. I don't go there. It's ugly and I don't like it. And so like the other ones were all in Wishfield and stuff. So, or you go from Wishfield. So you go into the Sea of Stars. There's a scroll, and then you magically transport through the scroll into this other world. And this other world is absolutely gorgeous. It's bamboo and like cherry blossom trees and just stunning, beautiful, beautiful world. And you start by like paddling a canoe, and it is stunning and gorgeous. And then you get to this little island, and there's these rocks that you would normally jump across, except they turn to like ink drawings that you'll fall through them. So you have to go back and craft a new outfit. You have to craft the dancing outfit. I know I'm saying that wrong, sorry. I don't know Chinese. So I paddle back and collect the flowers I need to craft this outfit. Unfortunately, I discovered that I just sort of pulled over and went on land and collected some, and then when I went back, my canoe had disappeared, because I guess if you don't park it at a parking spot and you park it somewhere random, it goes to the parking spot, which left me having to navigate my way back there to get the canoe, because I had to get back to where the rocks were, and I had to jump across water that was very deep, and I had to find just the right spots where I could like get up onto a rock and then jump with enough momentum to get across and float across and not get into the deep water. And it was just like, come on. It was very frustrating and annoying, and not a great way to start this particular season. I eventually did, and I eventually could continue the game, the story, and talking to people. And it's all very weird because everyone's like, oh, artist Nikki. And at first she's like, what is this weird place we are in? And you just sort of like fake your way through the conversations because you don't actually know who any of these people are, but they all know you because you apparently live here. And it starts out where she's kind of like faking her way through it, but then eventually she just starts talking like she knows who everybody is, and everybody's like, oh, okay, fine. And it's just sort of random. But I mean, the stories in Infinity Nikki don't usually make a whole lot of sense anyway, so it's fine, whatever. But I go through and I'm doing all this stuff, and then I get to this big cutscene, and then this monster attacks, and then there's this big battle, and it was a little frustrating to figure out what the hell I was doing, but I eventually defeated him. And then you had to go and investigate these disappearances because people and things disappear in the rain. They turn to ink and disappear. And like one of the stories was actually like really upsetting. There was like these parents who were upset because their little daughter had disappeared. But as you investigate her disappearance, it's like she hated her parents because she was this very talented artist, and they would not acknowledge her talent because they wanted her to stay humble. And so they wouldn't ever praise her. And so she thought her parents didn't love her and care about her. And so she ran away. And the whole thing was just very, like, a bit dark. But whatever. But then I get to a certain point, and it's like I do all this stuff. And then they're like, okay, now go talk to the old lady. But then it's like, the next quest is go talk to the old lady. And it unlocks in, like, 2 days. And I'm like, oh, I guess I was rushing a little. Sorry. So I have to wait now before I can play that again. But that's good, because now maybe I can get back to some Dragon Age, because I didn't really play a lot of Dragon Age Veilguard. I played that at the beginning of the week, because in the middle of the week, that's when Nikki updated, and then I got all into Nikki, and I didn't play any Dragon Age anymore, because I was only playing that at the beginning of the week, because that's where, like, you know, as I mentioned in previous episode, like, I'm at a break in the main story where you have to like do all your companion quests and get everybody else like super psyched and ready to fight in the final battle and stuff, so then you have to do that later. So it's just sort of like miscellaneous side stuff at this point that I'm doing. And it's fine, but it's not as compelling as, you know, working towards the main quest directly. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm playing. That's what I've played. I know last episode I said that I was going to play a demo, but then there was an update to Nikki, and I ended up not actually playing that demo. So maybe I'll try to play it this time, because I would like to play it, because I would like to know if I'm going to be interested in this game when it comes out. So maybe I'll play it this week, and I'll talk about it next week. We'll see. Find out next time. Bye!